I demand entertainment.
Are you not entertained?
Put on your dancing shoes.
Now give me your best shot.
Let's entertain.
From Mamma Mia, we've got podcaster and journalist Emma Gillespie on the phone. Hello, Emma.
Good morning. How are you today?
We're great. They've got you working at Mamma Mia today, so you can't just slack off and come and see us.
I'm on the early shift, but don't worry, I'll always make time for you too.
We're thrilled to hear it. Now, Robbie Williams has opened up about his sex life, and it's not as salacious as you'd imagine.
No, it's not. It's a bit of a far cry from the Robbie Williams of a decade ago, but he's done an interview with his wife, Ada Field, and they basically said that they have a sexless marriage, but that they're not unhappy about it. So he has stopped taking testosterone, which he was using to treat depression, and he basically attributes that to his libido plummeting, but that's just the way it is for them now.
And how have people responded to this? Because everyone who's in a long-term relationship goes, phew, because you hear stories about everyone saying they're doing it 4 times a week, etc. Have people said, what a relief to have an honest appraisal?
Yeah, I think that there's generally a feeling that it's refreshing to sort of see someone this famous, especially someone with the Robbie Williams kind of bad boy reputation, be so candid about this sort of a thing. I guess it's not really something that we see spoken about in public at that level, but he sort of said that, you know, when he was on the testosterone, that they were going at it like rabbits all the time, couldn't keep their hands off each other, and that he misses that time in their life. But, you know, now they have such a closeness and a friendship. And Ada had some interesting comments about sort of what we think intimacy is. And she said, you know, that there is this perception that sex is the only way couples can be intimate, but for them, she says they're always cuddling and holding hands and kissing and touching on the sofa and whatever, and that they are really close to each other, but it's just, you know, not necessarily textbook definition of what we think a relationship should be. But she said they're on the same page and they're happy, and he seems pretty happy too.
There you go.
Jonesy was sort of pulling a face when he said they like cuddling, holding hands on the couch. That's the downside of a relationship for you, Brendan.
Not at all. I like all that stuff.
Yeah.
I like all that stuff. But when you think about sex, it's kind of weird. When you really think about sex, sex is kind of weird when you look at it.
Well, where's this conversation going?
When you think about but when you just think about the act of sex, like animals don't have sex for fun, do they? Apparently dolphins do.
Yeah.
But
Dolphins do, yeah.
And people say that. How do you know? Like, how do you know that?
Because they
dolphins
don't.
do it for
They
fun?
probably have looked at how they procreate,
Yeah.
and they have sexual relations separate to when they're on cycle or something.
Yeah, right.
But it's interesting that there is all this pressure, I guess, that, you know, a joyous union must mean X, Y, and Z. And I guess it's interesting to see people at this level of that profile kind of coming out and saying, we want to be together, we love each other, and at different stages we have different stresses, and, you know, sometimes we want to, sometimes we don't, but, you know, it doesn't necessarily render their marriage unhappy.
No, which is something
or
that
whatever.
that most people in normal life know, but you rarely hear someone, a big rock star who's famous for his sort of sexual escapades
Like
and
Tommy
sexy
Lee.
kind of persona, saying it.
But Tommy Lee's always working on his bonsais now. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I have seen that. I mean, good for him. He's got a lot to...
He's got to channel it somewhere.
He's got
He's
a
going
big-
to chop down enormous trees and make them small.
He's got a big bonsai, I tell you. Well,
Yeah, his bonsai is someone else's enormous oak.
I did like a quote from Robbie in this interview where he said sometimes Ada will look at him and say, we should do sex, and he'll be eating a tangerine and sort of shrug, and he says, you know, sometimes we try. But I think he'd rather eat the tangerine.
It's got a peel. Hey.
And that's
Thank you, Emma.
that is dead sexy.
My pleasure.
Pun jokes.
Entertain.
Emma, it's always great to talk to you. We'll catch you next week, and you can check out Emma at mamamia.com.au. Thanks, Em.
Catch you then.
Thank you.